Hello friends, welcome to our channel Create Your Wealth. Let's continue our series on Rich Dad and Poor Dad. In this video, we will continue with chapter 2, which is based on lesson 1, The Rich Don't Work for Money. And this is the part 5. In the previous parts, we saw two boys who are curious to learn how to become rich start their journey. In this part, they meet up with the rich dad to know about his theory about money. Not too many grown-ups in 1956 made more than $5 an hour. The temptation disappeared and a calm set in. Slowly, I turned to my left to look at Mike. He looked back at me. The part of my soul that was weak and needy was silenced, and the part of me that had no price took over. There was a calm and a certainty about money that entered my brain and my soul. I knew Mike had gotten to that point also. Good, Rich Dad said softly. Most people have a price, and they have a price because of human emotions named fear and greed. First, the fear of being without money motivates us to work hard. And then once we get the paycheck, greed or desires starts us thinking about all the wonderful things money can buy. The pattern is then set. What pattern? I asked. The pattern of get up, go to work, pay bills, get up, go to work, pay bills. Their lives are then run forever by two emotions, fear and greed. Offer them more money, and they continue the cycle by also increasing their spending. This is what I call the rat race. There is another way, Mike asked. Yes, said Rich Dad slowly, but only a few people find it. And what is that way? That's what I hope you boys will find out as you work and study with me. That is why I look away all forms of pay. Any hints? Mike asked. We are kind of tired of working hard, especially for nothing. Well, the first step is telling the truth, said Rich Dad. We haven't been lying, I said. I did not say you are lying. I said to tell the truth. Rich Dad came back. The truth about what? I asked. How are you feeling? Rich Dad said. You don't have to say it to anyone else, just yourself. You mean the people in this park, the people who work for you, Mrs. Martin? They don't do that? I asked. I doubt it, said Rich Dad. Instead, they feel the fear of not having money. Instead of confronting the fear, they react instead of think. They react emotionally instead of using their heads, Rich Dad said, tapping us on our heads. Then they get a few bucks in their hands, and again the emotion of joy and desire and greed take over, and again they react and think of instead. So their emotions do their thinking, Mike said. That's correct, said Rich Dad. Instead of telling the truth about how they feel, they react to their feeling, fail to think. They feel the fear, they go to work, hoping that money will soothe the fear, but it doesn't. That old fear haunts them, and they go back to work hoping that again money will calm their fears, and again it doesn't. Fear has them in this trap of working, earning money, working, earning money, hoping the fear will go away. But every day they get up, and that old fear wakes up with them. For millions of people, that old fear keeps them awake all night, causing a night of turmoil and worry. So they get up and go to work, hoping that a paycheck will kill that fear gnawing at their soul. Money is running their lives, and they refuse to tell the truth about that. Money is in control of their emotions and hence their souls, Rich Dad said quietly, letting his words sink in. Mike and I heard what he said, but really did not understand fully what he was talking about. I just knew that I often wondered why grown-ups hurried off to work. It did not seem like much fun, and they never looked that happy. But something kept them hurrying off to work, realizing we had absorbed so much as possible of what he was talking about. Rich Dad said, I want you boys to avoid that trap. That is really what I want to teach you. Not just to be rich, because being rich does not solve the problem. It doesn't? I asked, surprised. No, it doesn't. Let me finish the other emotion, which is desire. Some call it greed, but I prefer desire. It is perfectly normal to desire something better, prettier, more fun or exciting. So people also work for money because of desire. They desire money for the joy they think it can buy. But the joy that money brings in is often short-lived, and they soon need more money for more joy, more pleasure, more comfort, more security. So they keep working, thinking money will soothe their souls that is troubled by the fear and desire. But money can't do that. Even rich people? Mike asked. Rich people included, said Rich Dad. In fact, the reason many rich people are rich is not because of desire but because of fear. They actually think that money can eliminate that fear of not having money, of being poor. So they amass tons of it, only to find out the fear gets worse. They now fear losing it. I have friends who keep working even though they have plenty. I know people who have millions who are afraid now that when they were poor. They are terrified of losing their money. The fears that drove them to get rich got worse. That weak and needy part of their souls is actually screaming louder. They don't want to lose big houses, the cars, the high life that money has bought them. They worry about what their friends would say if they lost all their money. Many are emotionally desperate and neurotic, although they look rich and have some more money. So is a poor man happier? I asked. No, I don't think so, replied Rich Dad. The avoidance of money is just as chaotic as being attached to money. As if on cue, the town direct people went past our table, stopping by the large rubbish can and rummaging around in it. The three of us watched him with great interest, when before we probably would have just ignored him. Rich Dad pulled $1 out of his wallet and gestured to the old man. Seeing the money, he came over immediately and took the bill, thanked the Rich Dad profusely, and hurried off ecstatic with good fortune. He's not much different from most of my employees, said Rich Dad. I have met so many of people who say, oh, I'm not interested in money, yet they will work at a job for 8 hours a day. That's denial of truth. If they weren't interested in money, then why are they working? The kind of thinking is probably more psychotic than a person who hoards money. As I sat there listening to my Rich Dad, my mind was flashing back to the countless times my own dad said, I am not interested in money. He said those words often. He also covered himself by always saying, I work because I love my job. So what do? I asked. Not work for money until all traces of fear and greed are gone? No, that would be waste of time, said Rich Dad. Emotions are what makes us human, makes us real. The word emotion stands for energy in motion. Be truthful about your emotions and use your mind and emotions in favor and not against yourself. Don't worry about what I just said. It will make you more sense in years to come. Just be an observer, not a reactor to your emotions. Most people do not know that it is their emotions that are doing the thinking. Your emotions are your emotions, and you have got to learn to do your own thinking. Can you give me an example? I asked. Sure, replied Rich Dad. When a person says, I need to find a job, it's most likely an emotion doing the thinking. Fear of not having money generates that thought. But people do need money if they have bills to pay, I said. Sure they do, smiled Rich Dad. All I'm saying is that it's fear that is all often doing that thinking. I don't understand, said Mike. For example, said Rich Dad, if the fear of not having enough money arises, instead of immediately running out to get a job so they can earn a few bucks to kill the fear, they instead might ask themselves this question: will a job be the best solution of this fear over a long run? In my opinion, the answer is no. Especially when you look at over a person's lifetime, a job is really a short-term solution to a long-term problem. But my dad is always saying, stay in school, get good grades, so you can find a safe, secure job. I spoke out, somewhat confused. Yes, I understand. He says that, said Rich Dad smiling. Most people recommend that, and that it's a good idea for most people. But people make that recommendation primarily out of fear. You mean my dad says that because he's afraid? Yes, said the Rich Dad. He's terrified that you won't be able to earn money and you won't fit into the society. Don't get me wrong, he loves you and wants the best for you. And I think his fear is justified. An education and a job are important, but it won't handle the fear. You see, the same fear that makes him get up in the morning to earn a few bucks is the fear that is causing him so fanatical about you going to school. So what do you recommend? I asked. I want to teach you to master the power of money, not be afraid of it. And they don't teach that in school. If you don't learn that, you become a slave to money. It was finally making some sense. He did want us to widen our views, to see what Mrs. Martin could not see, his employees could not see, or my dad for that matter. He used such examples. So friends, this is where I will end the part 5. And if you've liked this video, then click on like button and do share it with your friends. And do subscribe to our channels if you haven't yet. Thank you so much. Goodbye.